It is your feel-good show, not necessarily for breakfast, but for midday. Welcome to your Thursday Expresso midday broadcast. And for today's extra dose of feel-good, we are giving you the shot of funny that you need, maybe this year, certainly today, to make it through to the end of the year. We are being joined by none other than popular and most beloved award-winning comedian and actor and good friend of us on the show, Alan Committie.
I can't believe it. I mean, this is weird, midday.
It feels strange, I know.
This is the time I normally have breakfast, to be fair, so this is kind of right for me. It was always harder coming here early in the morning. I'd have to stay overnight, as you well know, and sleep in the studio so that I could be at least awake for the...
In fact, that's why we bought this
Well,
class.
this is why it's beautiful. It really is. I love what you've done with the things.
Thank you. Christmas has come and exploded in our studio, which we love, but it's so good to have you here in the flesh and also to hear that you are working in the flesh in places where other people can actually come and see you.
I can't tell you how excited I am. Because, as you know, this has been the maddest of years. I was lucky enough during lockdown to do a couple of online performances, and those were great, and it certainly was kind of balm for the soul to be able to perform, but it didn't have the same connection. It never does. And just to be able to know that in a week's time in Joburg we'll have a live audience and to be able to play to that, I'm very excited.
And a great Montecasino is just a lovely place.
Yeah, it is. And particularly in Joburg at the moment, it's been a little... Cape Town, there have been a couple of theatres that have been open now for almost 5-6 weeks. Joburg are only now opening a couple of their spaces. So I think people are gearing up for, for a great festive season. We need it. We need a couple of laughs. We need to get out and connect with people, even if it's at a social, a socially acceptable distance.
It's going to be the best show they've seen all year.
Well, that is true, sir. That is exactly the only thing I'm banking on.
You have a wonderful relationship with Peter Turin. You guys are intertwined, both here at the Theatre on the Bay in Cape Town and obviously at Monty. Why has that relationship worked so well?
Well, this is a man who's had a career of 40-odd years in South African industry, and he's not only promoted young talent and new talent, but he's also brought in these incredible shows, the big musicals from the Evitas and the Sunset Boulevards and Jesus Christ Superstars, Cats, Phantom, all of those shows. So he's working across a kind of broad palette, and I think what's always been amazing, or what I've kind of really respected, is that he's done all of that, but he's constantly looking for the kind of younger talent. And Anton Leiting, and there were a whole number of us in kind of late 90s, we were coming out of varsity and into the industry, and we found our way. We did a couple of shows at his theatre, and I at that stage, my first ever one-man show, which was a one-man Richard III, in which I played everyone. And in fact, it was subtitled The Untold Story of Diana's Death, which the only reason I called it that was because I thought, well, that'll court controversy and that'll get people to come and watch the show at Grahamstown. Of course, now that the crown's on, everyone's talking about it again. Maybe it's time to bring that show back. And he saw that show, and Peter saw that show in an audience of 15 people at Artscape Arena. And when younger comics or performers asked me, why am I performing to only 10 people, or why do I... That's the reason. You never know who's in an audience, ever. And that moment of 14 people in an audience, he took... 2 days later, he phoned me, he said, I didn't know you was in the audience. I said, I watched your show on Wednesday night. It was on a Friday. He said, I really enjoyed it.
Just wondering why Diana wasn't there.
Yes, I want to find out the details of exactly. He said, would you consider going to Joburg and doing some shows there? And that slowly kind of started this, as now 20-odd year relationship, working relationship. And he's just been incredibly supportive. And so what I think that's done for me, obviously, is given me a space to play. It's given me an audience, because he has a built-in audience who support his venues. And I've been able to kind of latch onto that. And I think, in turn, I've then joined his kind of inner family by taking over Defending the Caveman from Tim Plewman. I've then produced work for him. I've directed work for him. So I kind of feel now it's in a far more, give and take and reciprocal.
You've made him money. You've made him money, let's be honest. Yeah. And in your game, that's creating that expectation is something quite powerful.
Right.
And I think he's taken on that role of being a mentor within the industry.
Absolutely.
And I think this year more than ever, we've needed those custodians of the industry to really come to the party. The Lion King, the Circle of Laughs.
The Circle of Laughs. So this was my 2019 year-end show. I try and do a new show every year and reflect on the previous 12 months. So this was December, January of now the beginning of this year. It went so tremendously well at Cape Town. We were going to go straight to Joburg. Well, I was doing the producers and then go straight to Joburg with the show. And then, of course, a pandemic arrived on our planet. And so that was put on hold. And so here we are. We've only got 10 shows at Monty. But I was really keen to at least give Joburg a little bit of that flavour before I now get into my new show, which I'm sure we'll talk about in a couple of minutes. But so Lion King is, what can I tell you? Nothing much has changed in 2020 to make the material dated. That's the good news. I was talking about how bad 2019 was, following on in 2017, 2018, how we kept saying, well, next year will be better, next year will be better, and it kind of got progressively worse. Guess what? 2021.
It's twice as funny.
Exactly. So lots of great material. I will keep a lot of the stuff. We've trimmed down the show. We're not going to do an interval for COVID's sake, so that people can enjoy a kind of 90 minutes straight through, but essentially talking about deception, fake news, you know, the stuff that we see around us all the time, but actually, and the point I'm making in the show is that we live our lives like that. We do it with our partners. We kind of couch things in particular ways. And that's how we get through life. We're all Lion Kings in our own way.
It's a survival mechanism,
It's completely a survival mechanism.
And I would imagine safety precautions, you know, COVID protocol has been
so and I've seen this, you know, I've been helping the guys at Cork Bay Theatre. They're doing a show called Man Band. They've been doing this. Baxter Theatre's opened up. So what they essentially do is 2 seats on, 2 seats off. If you then go with a group of 4 or 6, you know, you can come together, but then you'll have the empty seats, as long as you're happy as a group to be all safe. But, you know, washing hands, temperature taking, all the usual stuff. Yeah. And I promise to stand slightly further back in case any spittle were to come.
I was going to ask maybe a little perspective visor. Yeah, I'm dying to see if you can cook, because everyone who comes onto the show has to do something in the kitchen. Man.
Now, 2020 we know has been full of surprises. This has been the hardest thing. When you phone, and you didn't phone. I mean, I was hoping you'd phone, but your people phoned, and they said, "Bring us a recipe. Let's do so." Yeah, I'm an appalling cook. Appalling. We pray before, you know, after we eat. That is the only way we get through. It's terrible. I want to try to defrost the microwave. Do you understand? I have no idea how kitchens work. So what I'm hoping is that together we'll concoct something delicious and delightful.
We'll create magic, man. We'll create magic. I'm just so happy to have you here, almost within reaching
distance. You've got quite a long
man.
reach. That was almost now breaking protocol, so I'll just keep these balls between us. Don't
man.
leave that alone.
There's nothing like a few balls between 2 grown men.
Absolutely. On a Thursday afternoon. Come on.
We even got a close-up there of the balls. But Alan's his latest one-man stand-up comedy show, I want to say latest, but his reboot, if you will, The Lion King. The Circle of Laughs is reopening the doors of Johannesburg's Montecasino Theatre from the 27th of November to the 6th of December. You can see him live and in the flesh. Tickets range from a paltry 150 Rand to just 220 Rand. That's ridiculous. And can be found at computicket.com. When we return, we're in the kitchen.